Hello again, and welcome to part 3 of me trying to make this art journal. I will put links below here under the little word more or in the description box for part 1 and 2, and look at them before you perhaps look at this. But else I would just quickly say my name is Lisbeth and I'm Danish abstract mixed media artist who likes to do all kind of different and crazy things. So look at the playlist and find what interests you there instead of going through all the feed here. It is much easier to look at the playlist. But enough of me talking here today, so I think we just should jump into it. In part 2, I made some different spreads and I skipped the front page because it's like warming up. You have to figure out what you like to put in your book. So that is perhaps better to do some pages inside and see oh, this is the way it's going. But I think I would now I dare to do the front page. And also I have done another thing that's a little different to what I did in part 2. There I made some of the spreads, so it was 1/4, 1/3 perhaps I have made of the book, perhaps this spread for instance, but and this here, but here I didn't know what to do, so I have found some bits and bobs, and I think some way I like to incorporate that there. So I have been through all the book. This here I have also glued in and make this big cross. But in a moment I will cut a hole here and do some sewing around. There I don't know what the rest will be. This you saw me doing. And here I found some bits and bobs I want to do here. So I just put them in there. And this I think you saw me doing, yeah. And this you also saw me doing. And here I found a little piece of fabric. I think I will glue a little piece up there. So all what is I mean by will do it different now. I know the things I want to put in my book, because I have, yeah, I don't know if I made that with you, but yeah, that is a funny story. This piece of paper here is from the newspaper. It was an article about all the witches that was burned in Denmark, and there a woman here who has been investigating. I don't know if that's the right word, but she had digged into all these things here, and there were over 1,000 people who were burned on the fire here in Denmark in the 70th centuries, and most of them were of course not witches, but this letter here is called the blood letter, and that is because one man who apparently worshipped the devil has written some wild things here. I can't read what it says, but I have read it in the articles. And the article, and this here was written in blood, and I like the color, and I think it's a white story that and an unbelievable story that you burned people on the fire for being witches. So there was a piece in here, but again, there I have found a piece of fabric I want to put there, and I think this I didn't make here filming, and here I have sewn some fabric in and painted it, and there I have some silver I perhaps want to put in here, and so all in all I have stuffed things in I think would look nice on there's a dried orchid I think I will put there somewhere. So I know pretty sure now what I want to put in different places. I don't start like that. I just start by making some pages and see where it takes me. And when I've done some pages, I often do it like this, then I think I would do that and that and that on the pages. So I will find some spreads with things where I haven't showed you what I have, now how I have did it in part 2. So I think I will start here with the front, and I will just take all that and lie it here beside me and say, there is the spread. And I have this piece of momigami paper. It is made on some brown paper bag of some kind. It is a little heavier than copy paper. And I know I want a piece of that here, and probably a strip of that. I don't know that. And then this piece of my Australian friend Michelle's jelly print. And something like that. But perhaps I just would start tearing a piece of this off. Like that. And perhaps also, yeah, perhaps it's fine. This is torn and some got straight edges, but not torn edges. Let's see what that would look like. Yeah, I think that looks nice, and that white speaks to that white there. So I will just glue this on with my normal glue stick and say that is that. And you have seen me glue so many times, so I think I will spare you for that and just show it to you when it's glued on. So now my front is ready, and I like it. I like the color to that color. And this is just a small piece of a thing I torn off. This is part, no, it was baking paper. I crumpled up and put it in a bowl of water for 2 days and let it soak there, and then I squeezed the water out and let it dry, and then it looks like that. It mimics quite well the momigami paper. So you can say down, down, down. And now I come to here. I still don't quite know what this is, if it's too pale. But I know I want to glue this on, and that later in the book I have cut a circle out, and this is this wonky circle. And I think I would, yeah, do I want to have it quite as wonky? I don't think it matters very much in this case here. And I want to put this, yeah, it is some, I think it is the from some lace or a doily, or I quite don't know where I got it from. Yeah, probably from the second-hand store, and I have been cutting in it already. I can't quite remember, but I will take this little one out, and instead of gluing it down, I think I would sew it down. So I will find my thread and a needle and show you how I will do that. If you want it slam bam in the middle, you can of course give it a little dab with your glue stick. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a glue book here beside me. So let me see if I can center it the best I can. The reason why I want to sew it on is because I can then pull a little here in the crocheting, and I'll just make a knot on the back, and that doesn't matter because I will be gluing it all down. So I'll just take it down. And of course you can't go up and down in the same hole. Then you will ruin your paper, but I think if you take a thread that's similar to the piece you're sewing down, it doesn't matter. So I will just take it down. here all the way around. And then I will, ouch, ouch, that was my thumb. I will go all the way around, and then I will just glue it on here, and I can show it to you when I've done it. And then I will do something about that corner. It is quite white. Okay, I don't mind it that that's just hanging a little piece here. It won't run anywhere as soon as I put my glue stick on. And I'll show you here. So I will just go all around and over the threads and everywhere. A good amount there. And remove this, and yeah, now you can figure out if you want to put it this way, that way, or whatever way you want to put it. I don't think it matters very much. So I will just put it here, and I think I will take this out here and this one and just squeeze it down here. I think this is sitting there quite nice. And then I will have to do something about that corner there, and I can see there's something here also, so I will just take my scissor and cut that white away there. And what color could I use? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think this one matches quite well. I can give it a little help here also. But that is up to you. And then I will take my water brush. And again, it is nice with a water brush because you don't put a lot of, if you use a normal brush, there would be a lot of water in that. And here there isn't so much. But so the page isn't going to be dripping wet. But you can see how it suddenly got a little more on it. So let us see how that looks. Yeah. So this will be the spread. I still don't know if that is too pale. And I won't do it like this now because this is wet, so this will perhaps go over to this, and I don't want that. So this has to dry. It doesn't take very long. So I will just let it here beside, and then I can take my next spread. There, and you can see I have already made such a thing, and it is in the back of the book, but I want to make another one there because I think this is too much with this big cross there. So I will, yeah, I used it, but I think I will just use this one here, and go up here. And then I will take my pencil and I will just go around it a couple of times, and hopefully I can see it. You can use a cup or a plate or whatever you have. You don't need to have such a tin plate as I have, but if you have, you can of course use it. And then I will just cut this out. Follow the line. And here I try to really follow the line so get a nice round circle. And there I can hard, there it was. I have to have the light in a certain way in so I can see the line. And it was just a piece like this, you just see me sew the little doily thing on and glue in on the previous page, but I will, that would go in my box with different things. So now it looks like this. So I will take my white thread here again and then I will show you how to sew around it. I have pulled you in a little so you can see what I'm doing. I have taken a quite long thread, so I'm sure I can come all the way around my circle, and I come up from the back and leave a long tail. Then I put my thread like this and I come up like this. And that is the first, blanket stitch, they are called, these stitches here. So I can feel here with my thumb where I want to come up, because I don't bother to be pre-poke here, because it is quite easy to push through this paper here. If I was doing it in thick watercolor paper, I probably would have pre-poked a circle of holes all the way around. And you decide, of course, how big, small, how close or far apart or along you want your stitches, but I think something like this here. It feels a little awkward, but it is working. But you don't need to see me doing this all the way around. So I will do that. Yeah, and you can see on the back side that it does end up with these tick marks, and that looks quite nice, I think. So I will continue and then I can show it to you when I've been all the way around. When you're nearly all the way around, eyeball it so it will look so nice as you think it is required. Mine is quite wonky already, so I think I will just come up here, there, and then I will go in the same, come up in the same hole as there is already there. So now, there. And then I will go down in the same hole again, but on the other side of the thread, so you don't unravel all you just have done there. And I will find the end here. There's a little under there, and then I will just tie a knot or 2 or 3 or as many as you like. There. And that was all. That isn't very difficult. I will cut them off there, and then I can see if I want them to dangle, or I will cut them completely off. Now they are on the back side, but they would end up there, but we'll see. So I will just take my book there and there, and then I will put all this in here. There and there and there and this is the next. So it would be something like this. This is peeking out through here, and that I think look nice. Of course you can, when you're binding the book, take care of that it would end so where you like it to end, this one compared to this side here. Yeah, then there is this spread here, and I have picked this little piece of watercolor thing out, and I think I just want a snoot of it there. So I will just take my ruler there and tear it there, so it can be inside the frame that is there already. So I think I will just take, what color do I want? Do I want the dark one, or do I want the white one? Yeah, let us try this one here. So I will just, whoops. Spend a lot of times around this here. Don't pull so much in it so it bends, but that would be enough, I think. Yeah. And then I will find this one and this one and make it nuts. There. Scissor is not happy about cutting in thread. It likes paper more. So you can rumble a little around with them, and then I would just put it there. So on with some glue, and normally I would, because this is a heavier thing and not all this thread are there, I would have taken some matte medium, but I know it would seep through there. Yeah, it doesn't perhaps matter because this is so thick. So yeah, I think I will find my matte medium here in this case. So I will do this. You can easily get lost in the order of all these pages here because you're flipping back and through and take out and put in, and so if you have any doubts about the order your book is to be in, perhaps you could take some pictures and number them, and then you can see on your phone where you are in your book. But here is my, can you see? No, you can't. I will come a little up. I have an old book I use for glue book. There and there. And I will just take my brush. And I think I also want to put something there. And I know now there is thick watercolor on the other side of this spread here, so there won't be any damage. And then I will put it down there in the middle and hold it down. I think I'll just do it like that. And then I will take my brush and put in water so I don't damage my brush. I will squeeze it a little and let it dry, and then we can see what next to do. While it's drying underneath here, I know this little piece is going to be there. So this one I will just take my glue stick and glue on. And it is a piece of organza. I think think it's not silk organza, but some polyester organza. And I have glued some thin pages from a hymn book on it and removed some of it again. So I got these circle shapes. But that must be for another video, the technique of that. So this is going to sit there. And I will also let this dry and put it in my book and see how far we are now. So all 4 sides of this, both sides have gone images on, and it is supposed to be here, and then the book is there. So I don't know what this piece is doing here. Perhaps I was thinking about putting it there, but now this one ended up there instead. But I have this here. It is also a piece of watercolor paper, and I've written several things I wanted to try and have tried it. There's a code for something and some names for some watercolors, but I think it looked nice, and I think I would do something like this. I don't like the hole there, but yeah, something like this. So again, I will take this out. Let me see. Yeah, that is fine. Put it like this and go with that. There. So this one, I think, since this is such thin paper, I will use my glue stick and my trusty one, a good amount. And just here I think it looks nice in the middle, so I will center it the best I can. But I know it can be quite hard to center something with such a wobbly side here, because yeah, you don't know quite when you bind it if it would end up looking lined up nice, but that's a risk. Instead, if you really want to know you can line things up precisely, you will have to sew your book together before you start embellishing it. But I like to do it this way and hope for the best. Yeah, and this is the bottom of a firecracker for New Year's Eve. I was out next morning and collecting them out on our street. But yeah, you know, if you've been with me for some time, you know I like round things. So I will just put it there. And squeeze it down. And there are some marks there. It isn't pristine clean, this white here, but I don't mind. But if you do, you can this will be reactivated because it is watercolor, but you could perhaps take a soft charcoal, or that was quite dark. Yeah, quite, and perhaps make some marks so it doesn't look so obvious that it is old dirt there's on, and so you can see it doesn't look so bad anymore. But then I will consider this page done also, and then I will see what next to do. So now you can see this spread, and I really think it looks nice. You don't need more anywhere. That is just fine as it is. This was okay, and this was okay, and this is okay, and here I have this piece of fabric. I perhaps could put a little of it up here, but I don't know how much. Let me see. Fingers in your ears. There you go. And I don't think I need any more than this. So again, fingers in your ears. And I would just turn it this way. And I have no problems with gluing fabric down with a glue stick. So I will just put a good amount on it. There, and read in my book. And then place this here at the top in the middle. Yeah, my fingers are a little there. So that looks fine also. This is okay. You can see I have connected all the small dots so it looks a little more of something, and let it go all the way out there. This is okay. This was the paper I talked to you about, and here I have this piece of fabric, and I will put it upside down because I don't want to read it. Size-wise, I think it's okay. You could also have used this one, but I've just used it on the previous page. So again, I will just glue that on and I can show it to you. So it is sitting there and it just needs to dry. Then there's this here and this, and that is fine. I won't do any more about that. And the next spread is this one, and I think they look nice together, but I think this could need a little, yeah, something else. So I have this strange paper. I know it is called just paper. I think it is something you use in China or perhaps Japan when you're celebrating. I don't know what you're using it for because, yeah, I don't know, but I have bought it on the big internet, and it is very brittle, this paper. It tears very easily, and you have really to be careful when you glue it down because some of this silver or gold is jumping off if you have glue on your fingers, but so you have to be a little careful. But I just think I need a little strip of it, and just to lift this here a little. Yeah, that would be enough. So if you have, for instance, have old glue here, don't put it down because then the gold will be sitting on your paper. So take a fresh page there, and I think I will let it go a little over, and then I will also, instead of taking my dirty fingers directly on, I will just do it like this. Yeah, that is fine. And this I won't do anything about. I think it looks fine as it is. There. This page I glued down on the back side of this watercolor paper here because it was just white and there was nothing on it. And I like all the colors that is there. And then I found a piece of some old Chinese or Japanese writing. I got it from Carol Parker, who was so nice to send it to me from England, and I really appreciated that. That was so sweet of her. So I will just glue a piece of this original paper down. She was a trip, yeah, I wonder if it, I think, was it Japan she was to, or China? I can't remember now. Maybe it was both. So she had bought it there herself. And I really like this kind of writing because, yeah, for me it can say anything. I don't think it says anything not nice, but in fact I don't know. So yeah, I will just let that sit there, and then I will do something about there. Again, I think we can take this color as the one we did. It's the same as I used previous. Just to give it a little more oomph. And again, I will take my water brush. You can also do it like this. It's one of my favorite colors, this color here. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. But I think it needs a little more than this. But what does it need? I have this gold here. Yeah. I see if I can punch a gold circle out and put there. I think that would be nice. I will find my punch thing and do that. In my box with my punch things here. And instead of a circle, I think I will try this one because I always end up making circles. So why not try to do something else? So I will just take this one there. That's a nice one. And glue this on here. You can always cut it out yourself. You don't need to have such a punch thing. And be a little aware what you put in this punch thing, because tissue paper and what is it called? The crabby thing, this stretchy crepe paper, egg crab, but what is it called on English? I don't know. That my machine really does not like them. So far so good. So now we're on to here, and I have a plan about using my jelly plate and make a big oval thing here. So I will remove, this is the middle of the book. So I will just lie this way, and then we can concentrate here on this spread here. I have so many things now on my table, so I can hardly find myself. Yeah, I have jelly plate that size, and I think that is okay if I go nearly all the way to the border. And I want to make it gold, so I'll fetch my gold paint and a fresh brush. So here we go. I have some really nice gold color here from Golden, and I will just put my pencil, not my pencil, sorry, my brush. I'm so tired of myself, I keep saying this, but It's because this brush in Danish is a pencil. And a pencil in English is en blyant på dansk. So that's why I always mix it up. So I've just painted this here on my jelly plate, and then I will swap it around here, or turn it around and just push it down. And hope for the best and fear the worst. I don't know if it will hang on to this crazy paper here. It's the same as the snip I just glued on earlier. Part my baking paper, squeezed up and put in a bowl of water for 2 or 48 hours. And I squeezed the water out and let it dry, and it ended up like this. So yeah, I think it ends up quite nice. Yeah. Doesn't that look yummy? And there's something left here, but I would let that sit because, yeah, I don't like to waste paint, and there's more gold in on my brush here. So now I can put my pencil. I will let this dry, and if I want to use it like this, I can always put a layer of matte medium over it and then lift it up. But I don't know that yet. So far ahead of me I ain't yet. So, and I think it dries quite quick. Yeah, it would have to dry a little. I also gave in some small dots with a gold pen, so I think that looks nice. So let us put it in the book and see. Let's see. So it goes there, and then onto here. I really don't know about this paper here. I don't think it fits very nice here. So I will have to figure something out. So for this page there, I could put this one there, and this one there, and there, and then I would have to figure something out there. Yes, my boys, let me see here. Where I need to glue this one on, and that is just some parchment paper with a jelly print on also. So I will just glue that on. You have seen that so many times before, so I'll do that, and then I will also glue some of the other things on and see what next to do with. So this is glued on here, and I have such a Posca pen who can make blobs, and I wonder if I dare to make some blobs there. It is a little darker because I put some paper up there, so I won't get it all over my table, but I think I will take the risk, and if it doesn't succeed, I will have to glue something over it. So pardon me. Yeah, that is not much of a blob. There. that must be it. I was hoping for more like this, but perhaps I was too careful. But I like all these blobs here, so I will let them dry, and then I can move with this, and perhaps the light got a little better, but they would have to dry. I've just glued this piece of Eco-dyed watercolor paper on here on this piece of yeah, this was there already. There I glued something from a magazine on, and then this watercolor Eco-dyed piece. But I want to put this little dried flower from a orchid on, and the way I will do that is just by putting a good amount of matte medium, fluid matte medium down, and just place it on the top, something like this, and then I will take some more matte medium. It always looks like I'm putting a lot on, and I am putting a lot on, because that's the only way you can get it to stay flat. And I don't think, where is my scissor? There it is. I can get this stem or little stalk to lie flat, so I'll just cut that off there. And now the leaves are nice attached, so it would just have to dry also. And now I can see my video is already so long, so if there also has to be room for a binding, I will stop here. But most of the rest of the book is techniques that are some I have used earlier, or when I make a flip through I can tell you a little about perhaps what it is I was doing. So now I will try to show you how I will bind this book with a simple pamphlet stitch. And I have lined all my pages up the best I can, and the creases there, and they all are sitting the best I can. Because all my pages are so uneven, I normally, if all my pages are the same side, I can put a clips like this on, but you can't grab all the smaller pages that way. So I think it is nearly impossible to use this, but use them if you have the same, if your pages are the same side. So I will just carefully take it up here, and then I have a big book here, and place it in the gutter, you can say, here like this, and then I will really press it down here in the middle, in the crease here, and then I will say that is about the middle. And normally I have a big awl, but I think my hobby has taken it, so I have this thing I can poke a hole with here, and I will just poke all the way through, and I hope I have gone all the way through. Perhaps it would have been easier if I just had shown you and taken some papers, because I know I will be rumbling around here. Up with that, and then I will go a little up here and make another hole here. And sorry if I'm shaking you. So I will make a hole there, and I will make a hole here where I have my index finger. I will make these holes, and then I can see if I can show you how to sew it. If you start here in the middle, putting your needle through all the holes here, you will have your knot in the middle. If you want your knot on the back side or the threads perhaps dangling, you will have to start on the outside. But since my book is so fat and chunky here, I think I will see if I can go all the way through here. Yes, and I have, you can see I have hit the line. And now I will go up here, and that is the tricky part, because you have to go through all the layers here, and that can be quite tricky to find them, especially here when I have removed my hand from all the pages. But you can perhaps go in like this instead. Yeah, that is really tricky, this here, because there are so many pages. I think I will, and here is the last one. Yeah. And you turn it around, and then you go to the hole at the top. And I can see I have pulled too much in my thread, because this should be inside there, but it ain't. So I will take another needle and put it through there, just so it is on place again. This is where you started and went through all your layers and come up at the outside. So now we have to find the hole here and go through all the layers again where the hole are. And I will go through all the layers here and come up on the back side, but I will rumble a little around with that. I managed to get out here on the other side of all the holes, and then I will go in the same hole in the middle here, and hopefully I can come out here. It is because some of it is paper and some of it is fabric, and yeah, that isn't the easiest thing. And up here again and into this hole, and then you end up in the middle hole again. And you can see this thread here is on that side, so I want this to be on my other side. And now I can really close it or drag so much in it so it sits quite tight. And you can see, I even think I can push a little more in it there. But really, this has to be tight, like when you're playing the harp. And that on the other side is, these two also have to sit quite tight. I know this is not the best demo, but I think I will take a piece of paper and show it to you. But now I'm sure that these are tight, and I will just make a knot and turn it that way and make another knot there, like that. And then you can cut them off the length you want, or let them dangle. But if you wanted them to be on the outside, you would have to start at the outside. So, but I think it ended up quite nice, even though I had some troubles. I think I have another video where I showed it, where it is easier to see what I'm doing. So instead of, I will show you just so you can see it is always so easy. But I will put a link for that also, so you can see how it's done more easily than this. But that's the way it is when your papers are so many different kinds, and there are fabrics and all sorts of things in. But you can see they sit really nice. There are only a few things I want to glue in now that it is sewn together, my book, and that is what I will have here on this page, because I have this frog, and it was a print that where my printer was running out of some of the colors, and it was supposed to be white, but it came out in this very light pink color. But I think I want it here, so you look at it like this, and that would be very hard to place correctly before I sewed it down. So I will just glue this in. So here we go with the finished book that you have seen, and that you have also seen. This you have seen here, and the hole I cut, and then I glued my frog on here so it's peeking out, and I think that's quite funny. You probably wonder why I glue such a thing in, but I have weaknesses for strange creatures and strange pictures, and of course you could put anything in what you want, but color wise I thought it looks very nice to this here. And this is an extra page I have put in, because this hole here I couldn't reach that. If you imagine this page wasn't there, the hole was too high, and when I would sew it down, I want to have 3 holes in all my papers, so they are hanging together. So that is why I put an extra sheet in, or a spread in, and that is also why my book is getting quite chunky. This you have seen, and this you have seen, and this you have seen. This and this and this and this. Yeah, here I just take my black Stabilo and give it a little more definition or highlight with a black Stabilo oil. You don't know, the one you can make wet and it turns really black. And here I thought it missed something, so I just cut this out of one of the shapes from the holes I have cut out, and a little something over there, so it got a little more. This I also put some napkin on, and a gold circle, and this you saw me doing. And yeah, this is just the piece that I cut out and highlighted it with gold. And this got some Japanese or Chinese writing and a half circle. And this here I had to take care of, because acrylic paint, the Posca pen I was slamming back down, it crackled up, and it wouldn't attach itself to the paper. So I got small black snullers everywhere. So I just took my Lyra graphite stick. I can water it, put it in water, and it turns really black, and painted over it. And then I took my like an old knitting needle and dragged through here. So now they look more like splashes, but they are turned matte instead of glossy, and I don't mind that, and I hope they will be sitting there and then it won't fall off. The only thing is that this one is more see-through now, but it is what it is. There I have also given it a little more black lines to give it a little more definition. This I don't think you see me doing, but this was the old ship there, and some papers I thought looked nice. And here I glue a skeleton leaf down on a piece of watercolor, eco-dyed watercolor fabric, and put some strings around it and glued it on here. And these two I think you have seen me doing. Here, black gold circle, and again some from the blood letter. There I took my jelly plate and make 2 round circles and just make some asemic writing down. And asemic writing there, and a ginkgo biloba leaf. And here again, this was made with acrylic, no, not acrylic, alcohol ink on the photo paper. Again, some strings, some half a coffee filter, small. And this was a piece of tea bag where I've been stamping on. Here again, some asemic writing and some more of the fabric. I like some of the pieces are picking up several places in the book. That makes my book more cohesion. And this is a quite funny page, this one. This is something from a art magazine, some sculptures I have cut out and cut a little of them off and placed the tree there and make these small gaps here. And that got me thinking of the old, I can't remember if it, I think it is Leonard Cohen, but correct me, it could also be Bob Dylan, but I think it was Leonard Cohen that said there's a crack in everything, that's where the light comes in. And that's such a nice saying, and that reminded me of that. Some from my ombre trip last year from inside the church, and some napkin and some silver there. This you have seen me doing, and this you also have. And this was from the same photos from my vacation last year in Umbria. The text again. Here, that was the new page I put in, and that has this rose colored something. So I had this creature I cut out and put in, and these leaves ended up here instead. And the hole here again, and it peeks in here, gold circles. There are several of them here in the book. And this is some lace paper, and I painted a little more there. And this is just as it is. And this too, I made it quite darker because I think it looked nice here. This was the thing that was left on my jelly plate. I put white paint of it and make it a print there, but you couldn't see the gold so much, so there was still something left, so I printed it once more, put a little strip of the fabric there, and did some asemic writing there again. And on the back side I have used the same 3 elements as in the front, and I think that is nice with that. So this is my finished book. I'm sorry this video ended up being so very long, but perhaps I should have made a part 4, but again, that is a little, I think it's a little overkill perhaps, but yeah, I apparently can't do anything quick or short, but that is the way I'm doing it. And I really hope you have been inspired here and see how you can put such a book together with all your scraps and leftovers and things you have pulled out of magazines or your old jelly prints or your pictures, and yeah, all sorts of things you can put in your book. There is no theme in this book, but you of course could have made a theme in your book. This here started because I was playing around with earth pigments and tissue paper, and I think I will do a little more excavation or a little more testing this and see what I can what I can squeeze more out of this. because I think it gets such nice papers that way. But I will say, if you have liked my video here, and if you have liked these 3 videos here where I made this book, please give my video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. And also it would be very nice with some comments, so I'm not sitting here all alone in the other end of the world and or on a lonely island and just being me. I would like to have some communication with you and give me your thoughts about what this is, or if you would like to try to do something similar. Yeah, so I will say goodbye for now and say please take care, and please be creative, but not least of all, please be nice to each other. That's the only thing we people can do in these crazy times. So bye for now.